But yes, in this video, I want to show you 10 alternative ways to grow without reading. Does this sound exciting? Yes. And I go by the name MacAnne. It is M to the A to the C to the A to the double N E. And this is your #1 stop for productivity and personal development. Every week I come up with a brand new content to help you become more productive and enjoy your everyday life. In case you're just stopping by this video for the first time, please click on the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss out on the life transforming content I deliver every week. Haven't been in that point where every year, by the end of every year, people come out and say, I have read 24 books in a year, I have read 50 books, I have read 60 books, and you're like, oh my god, I can't even finish one book. Or you've never read up to 6 books and you're feeling like, okay, does it mean that apart from reading, how else can you grow? Maybe you really want to grow, but every time you pick up a book to read, it's just as if it takes you 1,001 years to complete it. I'm just joking. But yes, in this video, I want to show you 10 alternative ways to grow without reading. Does this sound exciting? Yes. Yeah. The first thing I need to understand is that there are different learning styles. I know in this part of my country, in Nigeria, most times our education system is majorly structured around reading and writing. And now if you fall into the category of people who really does not enjoy reading so much, you need to look out for alternative ways to pass your exam. So people get to a point of where they cram, people get to a point where they use acronyms, but they just try to do different things because, guy, forget it, if you don't read, you don't go pass exam. That is, if you don't read, it will be very difficult for you to pass exam. But you need to understand that there are different learning styles. There's this model called the VARK Model, VARK. What is the VARK model of learning? It means that there are learners are categorized into four different categories. Now, the first category is called the visual learners. Now, these are learners like you watching this video, who enjoy watching, who enjoy using their, the sense of their eyes and the ear to engage. They want to watch it, they want to see you do it, all right? So they enjoy learning through visual aids. So they like either, if you're going to teach, you're going to use a PowerPoint presentation, or they even like learning through movies. You see them, they watch movies and they learn through movies. You see them, they watch YouTube and then the rest of it. So those are the visual learners. The second type of learner is called the auditory learners. Now, these are learners who engage more with their ears. They're always listening. Whatever they hear with their ear, it stays with them even for a very long time. All right. Now, the third kind of learners are called the reading and writing learners. Now, this is the major populated kind of learners, which we believe everyone is. Now, they always enjoy learning through reading and also writing. So they retain more when they read and write. And the fourth kind of learner is called the kinesthetic learners. These are people who enjoy by way of practical. They want to have hands-on experience. They want to feel it. They want to touch it. So there are more people who, they like field work. They like field trip. They like practical. So if you see, the first thing you need to understand about yourself is to ask yourself, what kind of learner am I? Are you a visual learner? Are you an auditory learner? Are you a reading and writing learner? Are you a kinesthetic learner? And you need to accept that, okay? You don't need to keep competing with someone who is a reading and writing learner, and then when yours is a kinesthetic one and you're killing yourself and you're feeling so bad, your self-esteem is going down because you feel like if you don't read, you're not growing. Before you start comparing yourself with any other person, guy, you need to know yourself. Know yourself and know what works best for you. Because when you know what works best for you, you would stop the comparison and you stop feeling bad every year when you keep hearing people say, hi, they've read 10 books, they've read 20 books, 50 books, and you have just read 3 books. Okay, now I know that this is not a justification for you not to read, okay? I later discovered in life that I am more of an auditory and a visual learner. apart from the fact that I enjoy talking and teaching, I also discovered I learn better through that model. But before now, I have constantly read. Now, I remember in 2017, I joined a reading challenge organized by the Pinnacle Reading Club, and in that challenge, we were made to read 24 books before the end of the year. Guess what? I joined this challenge by like the 9th month of the year, and by the 9th month of the year, I had only read just about 7 to 8 books. So I needed to come up with a strategy to complete it, because I am more of a goal-getter. I love competition, and if you dare me, I love it. And then when you tell me I'm going to win an award, I'm going to get something at the end of it, that is a double motivation to go ahead. Guess what? In 1 month, I read 8 books. Like, I have never done it in my life. I read 8 books in 2017, and by the end of the year, before December, I had completed my 25 book challenge for the year, and I won the competition with, I think I got a sum of 10,000 naira there. But then later on, I can tell you, since 2019, I'm being honest here, since 2019 till 2021, I don't think I've read up to 12 books. Maybe I don't think I've read up to 20 books for the past 2 years. I know there's some persons who see me and they're like, whoa, MacAnne reads like 48 books in a year. I'm like, okay. I have one of my family friend like that, and whenever he comes out from school, he's like, oh my god, MacAnne, you have finished 48 books in a year. I'm like, see this guy, you don't know anything. Well, guess what? I am growing, despite the fact that I am not so fully engaged in reading, because most times I don't have enough time, and then the rest of it. So I'm going to share with you 10 other ways you can grow without having to read. So the best way you can grow without reading is listening to podcasts. Yes! So those of you who are auditory learners who enjoy listening to things, podcast is an online radio that you can stream from anywhere in the world with just your smartphone. Okay, so we have podcasts on education, on politics, on fashion, on love, on dating, on childbearing, every aspect of life you can think of, there is a podcast in that line. I also have a podcast. This version of the Talk with MacAnne also has a podcast that is on Anchor and every other podcasting site. So if you are at this point where you find it difficult to really read, I would encourage you to go for podcasts. And the fact is, maybe you may even like to read, but then you don't have the time. Imagine someone that stays in Lagos, Nigeria, and in the morning you spend up to 2 hours on the traffic, and you're coming back, you're spending 2 to 3 hours on traffic. Guy, to help yourself out, I encourage you to get a podcast. All you just need to do is, despite the fact that the bus may be crowded with people, you just get your earpod, you block up your ears, and then turn on your data, and voila, you are learning. So podcast is one of the sweetest, easiest way to learn. There are a million podcasts over there. So I'd encourage you, go to Anchor, go to Breaker, there's Spotify, there's Google Podcast, there is also just a lot of them. Okay, just type on Google, you're going to get download Google Podcasts. You have different podcasts from different top authors and also top speakers, and then you can also find my podcast. Now, the second way you can learn and grow without necessarily having to read is through YouTube. Yes, YouTube has millions of videos on different aspects of life. Virtually everything you can think of, somehow there is an answer for you on YouTube. Guess what? Even on YouTube, there's something called TED Talks. And TED Talks are independently organized events, and they are talks given by different experts on various ideas that they have. All you have to do is just go on YouTube and look for TED Talks and download them and watch them. When you watch the different TED Talks, I can bet you that your mind is going to be exposed. Guess what? There are so many authors who haven't featured on TED Talk, and what they did on those TED Talk is to talk about their books. Now, imagine maybe this would have taken you like 1 month or 2 weeks, depending on how fast you are to finish reading. You can watch it in a 1-hour video where the author talks about it on TED. Is that not amazing? So you can also learn from my YouTube channel and several other ones. Okay, so I would encourage you, look for speakers, look for authors who you admire what they have said and you like what they are teaching about. Maybe you've not been able to read their books. Get their YouTube. Most of them have YouTube channels. They have been featured on several conferences. They've been featured on several workshops. Get their YouTube videos. And another way you can learn without having to necessarily read is attending coaching programs. Now, who is a coach? A coach is a person who holds you by the hand and helps you become the best version of yourself. Now, we have different coaches for every area of your life you want to grow. If you desire to grow in your finances, then you need a finance coach. If you desire to discover yourself, you need a personal development coach. If you desire to learn how to start up a business, you need a business coach. And if you desire to go into fashion, makeup, and the rest of it, catering, you need a coach. Now, instead of you having to go over to start reading 1,001 books or having to go over watching different videos on YouTube where you just learn gradually, you can look for a coach. You can hire a coach and get them to teach you what they know and help you become the best version of yourself. For example, myself, for the past 3 years, I have constantly invested in different coaches to help me become a better version of myself. As a comparer, I had to invest in working with my mentor and coach, Joyce Daniels, attending her courses, buying them and being a part of it. What am I doing? When I sign up for a coaching program, I have direct access to the coach. Now, imagine if that coach has written 10 books. Even without having to read those books, the coach would pour out everything he or she knows in you. And another thing is that most times, most coaches help you become your accountability partner to see that you achieve that particular goal or objective for which you signed up for their program. So if you want to improve in learning video editing, if you want to learn any skill, if you want to learn how to speak better, if you want to learn how to dance, if you want to learn how to sing, most of these areas of life you cannot get them through books. So you need to attend a coaching program to help you grow and develop in these different aspects. Now, the fourth way you can grow without having to necessarily read is attending conferences. Yeah, we know that there is COVID-19 and COVID-19 affected a lot of conferences and workshops because people are trying to maintain social distancing. But even before the social distancing occurred, I have learned several by attending conferences. You know, you get to network with people. You also get to listen to speakers speak to you directly. Okay, so now that we have the COVID-19 has happened and people are maintaining social distancing, we don't have large gatherings. We also have small conferences. We have online conferences. For example, in 2020, I attended a Head Start Summit with over 20,000 people registered from different parts of the world. In this year 2021, I just attended the Ubon King, that is Thinkation conference that had so many speakers. Guess what? While I was listening to them, I was experiencing mind shift. I was learning, my mind was expanded, and I was being spurred up to take action. So attending conferences is another way you can grow without having to necessarily read. The fifth way you can learn without having to read is through movies. I know you're excited, like, yes, I can watch movies. Yes. One thing I do whenever I want to relax, I watch movies, because guess what? Every time I watch a movie, there is something to learn. For example, I recently completed this movie yesterday called We All Can Be Heroes. There are so many profound lessons in that movie. Maybe I'm just going to shoot a video talking about what I learned from that movie. And so if you want, you need to begin to expose yourself to different kind of movies. We have movies on science, movies on love, movies on different areas of life. You can go to Netflix and then you can see different categories. Choose your category, choose your area of interest, and then watch. And make sure you're watching. Gradually, you're going to be learning. Another way you can learn is through traveling. Yay! I enjoy traveling, and for every time I travel, I learn. You know, you're passing through different terrain, you're meeting new people, you're learning culture, you're being exposed to lifestyle. These are the things you cannot learn in a book or you cannot learn in a classroom. Okay, so I would encourage you, travel, go for vacation, travel out of the country, travel to different places, explore. When you explore, you're expanding your mind. What way you can learn without having to read is by engaging in group discussion. Now, when you need to either look for a mastermind or an accountability group and just belong. When you begin to listen to people's discussion and you engage in those discussions, you are learning from them and you're also giving out. You know, there's a scripture that says in the Bible that iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. There's sometimes I just pick up my phone and I talk with my friend for hours, for minutes and hours, and I learn. I discover there's an area of my life I don't know and she knows better. I pick up my phone and I call, we keep talking and talking, and at the end, I have learned something. So look for discussions. That means you need to begin to look at the kind of friends you have. Maybe if they're not people you would usually learn from, maybe you can look for a mastermind, you can look for a group, belong to an organization. Maybe they have weekly meetings, monthly meetings, or even an online group where you will meet just once a month. Just go there, listen to them, contribute. You are learning. So the 8th way you can learn without having to necessarily read is by volunteering. Yes, volunteering gives you hands-on experience of whatever area of life you want to grow. Imagine you want to grow in public speaking, you want to grow in organization, you want to learn the ropes of how to fix electricity, you know, you'll enjoy technical work. Why not volunteer to go and work with a technician? You enjoy, you know, whatever you enjoy doing. Look for someone who is doing something related to what you want to learn and grow in and choose to volunteer. So this can help you become an expert in your skill. So like, for example, you just learned how to do graphics design, you just learned how to do video editing, you just learned how to, whatever it is you just learned, and you just need to practice and grow. Why not look for someone, hire and serve the person? Through service, you can grow without having to necessarily read is through audiobooks. Audiobooks, we have different applications that can read out the book to you. So maybe you don't have that time, you don't have the time to just sit down to read, especially if you're always on transit. You can just get your earpod, block your ear, and listen to the AI read the book to your ears. So audiobooks make learning easier for you. The 10th way you can actually grow is also through reading. Yes, I cannot, I will feel so guilty if I tell you, okay, these 9 ways and I don't mention reading. The fact that you don't enjoy reading, you can discipline yourself to read. I am disciplining myself to read now, and I tell myself, MacAnne, you don't have any excuse. You just have to read because you are constantly giving out value. The truth is, there are secrets that people have shared. Maybe they are dead, they've not been able to share it in conferences because most times conferences are just 1 hour. Coaching programs, sometimes they are just 7 weeks, but someone decided to document his lifelong experience in a book. Why not? I want to encourage you, discipline yourself to read. If you're finding it difficult to read, join a group reading, join a group where they discuss about books, and then just get an accountability partner. And then I would encourage you to start small. Don't go and get intimidated by people who read 50 books in a year. See, I'm not intimidated. I read at my own pace, but despite the fact, I also embrace this other method of growing. So the truth is, you can grow even without reading. Well, let me rephrase. You can grow in addition to reading. So apart from reading, I've shared with you 9 other ways you can grow. You have podcasts, you have audiobook, you have YouTube, you have coaching program, you have attending conferences, you have movies, you have volunteering, you have group discussion, you have traveling, you have audiobook, and most importantly, you also have reading. By the time you engage in these 10 different ways, I bet you're going to keep growing. Remember, your personal development is your personal responsibility. No one else has that responsibility to make you grow except you. Make that decision and tell yourself, I am my biggest asset and I am committed to growing continuously. If you want me to help you in any of those ways, I can be your coach. I have a coaching program where I coach people on how to discover themselves and how to monetize their knowledge, how to convert their passion into profit. It's called the Personal Development Online Bootcamp. If you want to work with me, sign up for Personal Development Online Bootcamp. If you also want to learn how to create content, videos, and the rest of it, sign up for the Professional Smartphone Videography course. And I also have different books that you can learn. So I've written Beyond the Classroom. I also have Flip the Switch, so you can learn from that. And then I have my podcast. Listen to my podcast on Anchor.fm or any other podcasting site, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because every week I'll be sharing with you content, because I love you and I am committed to your growth and personal development. Make sure you share this video. Share it. Subscribe. I need other people to watch this video and also learn other ways they can grow, not just restricted to reading. If you enjoyed this, tell me what you learned in the comment section. Tell me which way works for you. Tell me what kind of learner you've discovered you are, and which of the ways of learning you're going to be sticking with. Till I come your way again, same time next week. Bye-bye.